Today is April 14, 2014. The time is 5:30 p.m. This is the meeting of the Paris City Council. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We will start with the invocation to be led by Pastor Reed, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance for Dr. Grossnickel. Pastor Reed.
Would you bow with me? Creator God, we give you thanks for your presence in all of life. We give you thanks for the gift of rain, which nourishes the soil and nourishes life. May we as your children do all that we can to make the most of all your gifts. We acknowledge, O God, that we have not always lived as you have wanted us to live. There have been times when we failed to look at others through your eyes rather than our own. Forgive us and open our eyes that we might see you in all people, rich and poor, and with no regard to ethnicity or home of origin. We pray for those families of our community whose lives have been touched by the death of children in the accident this weekend, and for those who were injured. Comfort their sorrowful hearts and bring them peace. We offer prayer today on behalf of these elected officials of Paris, Texas. We pray that you would grant them an extra measure of wisdom as they seek to do the work of this city. Help them to seek your counsel in all that they do. Like the blind men to whom Jesus brought sight, open their eyes to the needs of our community and to place them above their own wants and desires. Through your wisdom, help the City Council to become aware of ways in which to work with people of differing opinions, to accomplish goals that would bring understanding among all your people and honor you. During this time of Holy Week, make us mindful of all the officials who dealt with Jesus. From their mistakes, let us learn compassion. From their inability to discern their work in relation to the overall plans of God, remind us also that we are dealing with the lives of people and that our desire should be for the highest good of all people. We offer these prayers for wisdom and discernment in the name of the one who calmed storms, fed thousands, and met the needs of others before his own. Hear our prayers, O Lord. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. The Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is now open. If you want to address, please come forward. Write your name and address for the record.
My name is James Price, with 1230 Shiloh. I'm to address the council on the Senate Buildings Ways Committee. I noticed this past week the house been burned just about a month. They put a sign on it. I got a whole neighborhood of houses over on the west side need to be torn down. Let's get our priorities right in the city. Take the old houses, they're not the ones just burned, but I got houses people are living in that actually burned it, and so I'm asking the council to whatever they need to do to just to help the people on this side, on the west side too. Because I understand houses are old and they need to be torn down, but let's get, because I got houses with weeds growing up on the trees coming through the roofs and everything else. Let's get our priorities right, City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Godwin, can we address that issue?
Yes, sir. In fact, we spoke earlier. So.
Thank you. Anyone else wanting to address the council? If there's nobody else wanting to address the council, the Citizens Forum is now closed. We'll move to the next agenda item. The first item on that is proclamation. recognizing the achievements of Paris Junior High science students. Whereas Paris Junior High science students advanced to the state level of their outstanding work in the field of science and engineering, students competed and placed at the Texas Regional Science Fair, one of 12 qualifying regional contests held across Texas, with Paris ISD winning 4 of the top 10 awards in biology and 2 of the top 10 in chemistry. The 51st Annual East Texas Regional Science Fair, an international science and engineering fair sanctioned event, was held on Friday, February 28, 2014 at Kilgore College, where there were over 150 students participating. Paris ISD had the largest percentage of qualifiers of all participating school districts. The top 10 finishers in each of the 4 categories were invited to attend the ExxonMobil Science and Engineering State Science Fair, March 20th to 23rd at the University of Texas at San Antonio. To compete in the EMTSEF, each student project must compete, win, and be invited by one of the Texas Regional Science and Engineering Fairs. Each region selects a maximum of top 51 projects in each of the junior, middle school, and senior high division categories. Our region only selects 10 from each category. Advancing to the state competition were Asher Ando, Zachary Dela Garza, Anna Floyd, Sahil Prakash, Reagan Stone, and Zan Syed. Over 1,100 students competed with 900 projects, and Paris Junior High had 1 student placed 4th at the state, Zan Syed. Whereas we are proud of these young students and their hard work and dedication to their school community and love for science. Now, therefore, I, A.J. Hashmi, Mayor of the City of Paris, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested in me and in honor of their notable accomplishments, do hereby congratulate the Paris Junior High science students and encourage our citizens of the City of Paris to join me in honoring the 2014 Paris Junior High School science students and their teachers on this special occasion. I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city to be affixed this 14th day of April 2014. And I ask Ms. Drake to please come down, since she was orchestrating one of these, so if I can please have you come down with me. And I'd also like to ask Ms. Ando to please come and receive the proclamation. Sometimes I do. The next proclamation is the proclamation declaring the month of April as a safe digging month. Whereas each year the nation's underground utility infrastructure is jeopardized by unintentional damage by those who fail to call 811 to have underground lines located prior to digging. Undesired consequences such as service interruption, damage to the environment, and personal injury and even death are the potential results. Atmos Energy, along with 1,500 Common Ground Alliance members, promotes the national call before you dig number. 811 is an effort to reduce these damages. Designated by the FCC in 2005, 811 provides potential excavators and homeowners a simple number to reach their local one call center to request utility line locations at intended dig sites. Whereas through education of safe digging practices, excavators and homeowners can save time and money, keeping our nation safe and connected by making a simple call to 811 in advance of any digging project. Waiting the required amount of time, respecting the marked lines by maintaining visual definitions throughout the course of the excavations, and finally digging with care around the marks, and all parties agree that safe digging is a shared responsibility. To know what below, call 811 before you dig. Now therefore, I, A.J. Hashmi, Mayor of the City of Paris, do hereby recognize the month of April as National Safe Digging Month in the City of Paris, Lamar County, Texas. In testimony whereof, I am hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Paris to be affixed this 14th day of 2014. I'd like to ask Mr. Lewis to please come up. You're trusting your camera with Mr. Charles? The third proclamation is recognizing the service to our community provided by the Paris-Lamar County Health Department. Whereas on October 30th, 2012, the New Hope Center purchased the building at 4th and Sherman Street by the endeavors of the RAM Foundation and agreed to lease a portion of the building to the Paris-Lamar County Health District after the facilities were no longer acceptable. The RAM Foundation is a philanthropic organization that reaches out to help improve the lives of those in need in our community. The Paris-Lamar County Health District is an asset to our community, providing much-needed immunizations and vaccinations, WIC program, environmental and water testing, restaurant permitting, car seat program, and other resources. The mission of the Paris-Lamar County Health District is to provide the best possible opportunities for good health to the citizens of Lamar County through health promotion and prevention of disease. Gina Pestridge has been the Executive Director of Paris-Lamar County Health District since April 28, 2012. She has done an excellent job negotiating the move of the facility and working with individuals and organizations in our community to help make healthy life available to every citizen. It is because of the giving of others in our community and the unity in which we work together that makes our community here in the city of Paris, Lamar County, Texas, a place to be proud of. Now I, therefore A.J. Hashmi, Mayor of the City of Paris, Texas, by authority vested in me, do hereby, on behalf of the citizens of Paris, Texas, wish to recognize the services to our community by the Paris-Lamar County Health District, and specially thank Mr. Andy Faskin, the RAM Foundation, Mrs. Gina Pestridge. I hereby urge the citizens in the city of Paris, Lamar County, Texas, to support and recognize the efforts and accomplishments of this organizations and benefactors, staff, and volunteers who provide the funding, labor, and time to help make a difference in our community. I would like to ask Ms. Pestridge and Ms. Yeager if you would please both come to meet me in the front. And this was initiated by Mr. Wright, so I'd ask Mr. Wright to come join. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Do any of the council members have anything to discuss on the consent agenda? Ms. Drake?
No, sir.
Mr. Frierson?
No.
Dr. Grossnickel?
No, sir.
Ms. Lancaster?
No, sir.
Mr. Jenkins?
No, sir.
Mr. Wright?
No question.
Okay, can I have a motion on this item then?
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, the motion carries. Next, we move to a regular agenda. Item number 15 is discuss and consider proposed economic development policy with Lamar County Chamber of Commerce Retail Committee. Mr. Godwin.
Thank you, Mayor. Very quickly, last month, I believe early mid-March, the City Council discussed this a little bit, and then we had a joint workshop with the Retail Committee from the local Chamber of Commerce. And at that time, the council gave us two instructions or requests. One was to develop a policy, and the other regarding retail economic development, and the other was to investigate the possibility of hiring an appropriate consultant to help us with some initial studies, and then also, excuse me, later some follow-up. We have met, the committee and I have met, and we have developed a kind of a short 5-page policy. I think very consistent with what we had talked about in our workshops. I wanted to hit a few of those highlights from that. On page 2, and I apologize that the pages were not originally numbered, but on the second page, I don't know what the actual page number in your agenda is, but the page is entitled Economic Development Grants, Loans, and Other Incentives. I wanted to hit down there at the bottom of section 1 the priorities, and the priorities would be filling existing retail or service gaps, reducing retail leakages, and introducing new capital in the local economy from outside the city. Retail does have the ability to do that if it's done the right way. And just to emphasize again, we're not talking about just moving money around that's already here. We're talking about bringing people in from outside the community. And that means new people, new shoppers, new dollars, and those that are leaving our community to go elsewhere to try to keep more of those dollars in. And so the policy and the consulting and the study that hopefully will be done later this summer all work together to do that. And the second thing I want to mention there is on the same page, section 2, funding, the types of funds that we're talking about trying to use under this grants, loans, and other incentives. The main thing is we talked about was Chapter 380 of the Texas Local Government Code. Texas Local Government Code allows us to negotiate almost anything if it makes sense and if it benefits the city, the public good of the city, the quality of life, economic development, revenues of the city, and so forth. And so that's the main thing there. As part of Chapter 380, it also authorizes cities to give rebates for sales taxes. And just to clarify, when we say rebates, it doesn't mean that we're going to write somebody a check out of sales tax money. It doesn't mean that we would lose sales tax money. It would be a rebate only of money that they paid. And so it's kind of a circular thing. A new business comes to town, and we've negotiated a deal where they get a 20% rebate of their sales tax. They still pay all of their sales taxes. It still goes to the state. The state still counts it up. They send it back to us. Only once we get that money would we rebate a portion of that sales tax, if that was our agreement, to that business. A lot of times for an early business, especially because of relocation costs, because of capital costs, investment costs, and sometimes if it's a smaller business that's just a true startup business, those early years can be very important to them to get started, get established, get their presence and their customer base built up. And so being able to offer sales tax rebates can be a very powerful thing for retail development. Along that category too, the next couple of things there I want to mention, sales and use taxes to the PEDC. And again, I want to emphasize that because I don't want that to scare anybody away. Exact same thing. This is not money that the PEDC would be participating in. The PEDC, we're not asking them to to give away money. They've got their own responsibilities that are not part of retail, and that's been well established and discussed here. But that does give us that extra fourth cent that could be negotiated, but only money that otherwise would never have come in to begin with. So you're talking about negotiating money that you otherwise don't ever have. Same thing with the hotel occupancy tax. An example of how a hotel occupancy tax can work as a rebate. A lot of times you'll have a hotel that wants to build conference space. Conference space can be very expensive to build, but to get a larger hotel or a higher quality hotel or a specific type of hotel, they need conference space because that helps them sell rooms. They don't make money off of conference spaces. Most hotels don't. They have it to make money off of their rooms. And so if there's an opportunity to rebate hotel occupancy tax or HOT that you otherwise never would have gotten, you've not lost any money. And the way to put that is instead of 100% of nothing, you might get 50 or 70 or 80% of something. So you're still coming out ahead no matter what. You would never, ever give any money away, never write a check to anybody unless they paid you first and you're giving some of it back. So I want to emphasize that. This isn't welfare for businesses or anything like that. This isn't a giveaway. This isn't a free money to give those folks. And then the last 2 pages is just, and I would recommend that you probably never want to do this. I don't like tax abatements for retail, but it is an option that I put a last, just kind of a throwaway 2 pages at the end, just in case there was ever something that was so unusual or so unique that you were willing to at least consider tax abatements for retail. Again, I've never done that. I've always had it in a policy. This is actually a policy pretty close to what I've used in another city that I worked in. It worked very well. We had people that would ask for tax abatements. Because it was in our policy, it always gave us something we could negotiate away. It gave us something to say no to. And negotiating tools are very important in retail economic development. And which brings me to my last point, which is really important, and I want to make sure everybody understands and hopefully agrees with. And that is that this policy is designed to be a case-by-case negotiation type of a deal. It's not a formula-based like you would with tax abatements, with manufacturing, which makes a lot of sense in those cases. How many jobs, how big? It's to formulate, the percentages. Y'all recently adopted a policy about that, in fact. This is, we want to get all we can for the good of the community. We want to enter into partnerships with developers and for retail development to work. And we're not talking about like individual stores. We're talking about an auto parts store or a gas station. We're talking about mixed-use centers for the most part. Those things you need to negotiate individually and get what you can out of them on a case-by-case basis. So it's different from what the other kind of economic development that's going on in the city and going well. So I want to emphasize that part. The members of the retail committee, I know a number of them are here from the chamber. Although I only see one face, but there they are. There's a bunch of them. I think most of them are here. Appreciate working with them, and they're here if you have any questions of them, and if you have any questions of me.
Ms. Drake.
I assume that all the chamber members and the ones that were on the committee are okay with this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It was a joint document put together. I had put together a draft. We met 3 or 4 times overall.
I know, I saw y'all the other day coming down.
With the project.
Yeah. And Kent, you're okay with all of these things that were put in here? No red flags there?
Nothing. It's just a policy. I didn't see anything jumped out at me.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the hard work the city manager and the chamber and members of this committee have done on it, and that's the only 2 things that I had at this time.
Mr. Frierson.
John, kind of walk me through this on how this works. You're contemplating meeting with someone later this week to, I guess, recruit retail based on the money that we allocated in the budget, correct?
Yes, the study, yeah, I was confused for a second. Yes, we're talking about hiring a consultant to do an initial gap analysis study and market study.
Okay, and so let's just say, just kind of walk me through. When a prospect says, hey, this is like a place we might want to do business, who do they then go to? Because I know this has kind of been joint between you and the chamber. Who's the
I think the point of contact will probably be the chamber initially, and I guess that's something that needs to be worked out still when we get to that point. But it's my understanding that they will take the lead on that, and I've offered to assist them in any way that I can.
And the 380 agreements are just case by case basis,
correct,
which you said,
correct.
Which is fine. Any reflection or I worry about, and I really don't worry about it, but just a question on the administration of this. I know you said the money comes back from the state, and then who's going to track it, and how's all that going to go? Is there a need for an additional position because of this? Or
No, it's a pretty simple process. I mean, if we had something really big, it could get complicated, I suppose. But again, in the last city I worked in, which we had a very similar policy, we did about $50 million worth of incentives in 3 years. We added no staff, and we only had 2 people in our accounting department. So it's not complicated at all.
And all the agreements would rest purely with the council, or they would have to go to PDC first?
City council.
Okay. That's all I have right now. Thanks.
Dr. Grossnickel?
John, could you give us a little more information about the retail coach, the candidate that you...
Dr.
Can we meet
Grossnickel,
with
I'll
them?
have to stop on that because it's not listed as an agenda item to be discussed.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
And they are just one company that we're going to talk to, Sue. So we're a good ways away. I'll report back to you at the May council meeting on that.
Okay. That's all. I have.
Anything else with reference to this, Dr. Grossnickel? To 380?
No.
Okay.
Plus, I'll get you some information in the meantime, so y'all know who they are.
Ms. Lancaster?
So really appreciate all the work that y'all have done. We certainly do want to see as many retail opportunities brought to Paris, and I'm very excited about the 380 prospects. And hope I'll hear something from John Godwin soon.
Mr. Jenkins?
I have no questions right now, but I appreciate all the work you're putting in right now.
Mr. Wright?
I appreciate all the work, too, that all of you guys put in with this. There's about 3 things that I really like about it. Nobody will be able to get any more back than they paid in sales tax, which costs nobody anything except their sales tax. The other thing that I like about it is that it fills the gap. It will target in on areas that we don't have instead of areas that compete with our existing people. I like that. The other thing I like is that there's no extra help hired.
Absolutely.
So you passed by me.
Okay.
As everybody else, I appreciate all the help. I would like to ask a couple of quick questions from the gentleman who owns the mattress store. He's sitting right there, because he had some concerns last time when we were discussing that you're perfectly comfortable with what we are doing.
Well, I think it's a matter of understanding. It's not to go out and recruit. Let's just use me for example, since I've been used from the beginning.
Could you please come to the mic and talk so that everybody can hear?
It's not one of these situations where we're going to go out and recruit a mattress store. It's not one of these situations where we're go out and recruit any particular retail entity, unless it's something that we're really direly need here. Nobody wants to bring competition to themselves, but we realize with growth there's going to be some competition, because I assure you, if Paris starts growing, people will be coming. We won't have to go out and look at them. But what we're trying to do is get a foothold in some of the underdeveloped areas, such as the North Highway, possibly even the South Highway, the Southern Loop, wherever. This is going to require in the future the city to own up to with infrastructure, and depending on who it is, how much the city would have, and so forth. But as far as retail, you know, there are some areas we could use stores, and so we're targeting like developers.
So you're comfortable with it?
I'm comfortable with it in the form as I understand it, which I believe is the way the whole committee has put forth.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Mr. Ressler, you're comfortable with it? You were there at the meeting?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with it. The thing that's not been said here, though, is if you attract somebody new like that, they're going to start paying ad valorem taxes immediately. So the city gains that on top of all of
And rest of the chamber people are perfectly comfortable with it? Okay. All right, good enough. If that is the case, then I need a motion on this item.
I make a motion that we accept this policy, this economic development policy with the chamber.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, the motion carries.
If I can just real quickly thank the retail committee from the chamber too. Great bunch to work with. I really appreciate it and look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Now, I apologize, but I really did have a question on a consent agenda item and I forgot to ask it. So if you don't mind, I'd like to make a motion to reopen the consent agenda just for item number 13. I have one clarification that I need to do, so I'm going to make a motion. Can I get a second on it?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. I will go to item number 13, and it says approve a resolution authorizing an interlocal agreement for drug-related investigations between the City of Paris and City of Reno and Lamar County, Texas. The question that I would have for this is, supposing there's a Reno officer working in Paris city limits, does that become our liability in any way or form?
No, sir.
Okay. They are still covered by City of Reno. And
Yes, sir.
same holds true of us going into their area? Does that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there are no liability concerns on it,
Just the usual liabilities that we face every day. Yes, sir.
which we are used to. There's no extra liability associated with doing this agreement.
No, sir, there's not.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda again.
Second.
All
I'll
in
second
favor?
it.
Thank you. All in favor. Moving right along, item number 16 is receive and project update on phase 1 of TWDB water line replacement project and discuss and act on change order number 1 in the amount of $18,383. First of all, I'd like to make a motion to untable this item.
I make that motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion's untabled. Mr. Napier.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, as we bring this item back before you, we have been meeting with the contractor. The contractors, you may have noticed, last Thursday and Friday they've hired J&L Paving, a local asphalt company, to come back in and redo a number of the asphalt cuts that were made, and they have started on that process. And from what they're telling me, they need about another good week of warm, dry weather to finish that. And as you've kind of read through my memo, what we're looking to do is to, the fact that we cannot kill the old 20-inch line, we've gone back and even went and talked to some 25, 30-year employees in the Water and Sewer Department and tried to find out from them who, started working with the city back in the 70s, and they came and tell us we couldn't kill that pipe in the 70s either. So we've come to find out, it's taken this long to replace that pipeline, but it was long overdue to be replaced. So what we would kind of propose, along with I'll get to the actual change order, but is to probably try to end the contract with McInnes Brothers and let the city come in and fix the problem with killing the old pipe out. There's numerous ways we can go about that. I've discussed some of this with city manager, trying to look over some things. We're going to look at some cost-effective measures in order to do that, but it may take us into the summer to get that done, and I don't see a need for us to hold on to this contractor when we can. It's going to be on us to hire additional staff to come in and possibly look at installing like a stopple device inside that 20-inch line, or digging up across some other intersections to look for some pipes that may be feeding this old 20. So that's the issue we're looking at, trying to look at solving. But as it is tonight with this change order number 1, we are asking that the change order be approved in the amount of $18,383.02, and that an additional 45 working days be added to that contract. That 45 working days only gets them to March 6th, which is still expired. So there will be liquidated damages assessed on top of, this time charge as well, which, as you read through there, is going to be quickly approaching over $6,000 been in this week. And like I say, we would, if with your consent as well, we would like to possibly come back to you, possibly the next meeting, and look at closing out the contract with McInnes Brothers, and try to look at a plan, come back with a plan in order to kill or take the old 20-inch cast iron line out of service.
Mr. Wright, any questions?
I'm not too sure that I'm sympathetic with giving them the 18,000. because of the problems they've caused. And if anybody that's driven Church Street knows what I'm talking about.
Mr. Jenkins?
No questions.
Ms. Lancaster?
I feel pretty much the same way Mr. Wright does. I'm not, that's a mess. And I hate to see us have to pay for their shoddy work.
Well, if I might address, the 18,000 is actually just I think you actually have a wrong number in your packet. I think it says 17, but it's actually 18,000.
383?
Yes, sir. That is just a change in bid items, in line items. There's no new bid items been added. What that actually is just a change. There's some pluses and minuses in quantity items that when you actually dig underground, what they found versus what was on the plans may have been different, unforeseen to city, the engineer, or the contractor. So that's what the difference in the 18,000 is just simply by line items of what they actually found when they encountered it. It doesn't really come into play with their workmanship.
Well, we still are going to have to address how it looks and how to fix it, and that's going to cost money. It's coming from somewhere.
Yes, ma'am. Well, that's what they're in the process of fixing now, as far as the asphalt, repairing that item.
Well, I have looked at what they're doing, and it still doesn't look very good to me.
The spot up here by the church, by First United Methodist.
Yep.
If I could just suggest that you table it again to the next meeting. Nothing has to be done tonight. They're still there. They're still not finished. And we can table it and bring it back on the 28th.
Let me just go through the other council members first. Dr. Gross-Nichols?
I have nothing at this time.
Okay. Mr. Frierson?
Well, I've talked to Mr. Goblin about this individually. So I think there's some things that are definitely going to take a lot more time than was ever imagined in this, and that concerns me greatly. You want to expand on that based on our conversation,
Well,
John?
There's 2 or 3 different issues here. One of them is poor quality work by the contractor, which we're very familiar with, and also the fact that they are late, which we're familiar with, and finding them on a daily basis. The other issue is the specific one about the change order, which is by contract we're required to pay that change order, I believe, and I defer to Ken on that. But the other issue is, and this is opened up, not really for tonight's discussion, but the whole issue of roads. And we're having the same thing on phase 2. We have a contractor that's performing, I think, fairly well on phase 2, going very quickly over there on 13th and 7th. But when you start digging up those roads, you still have horrible messes. And so one of the things we need to think about going forward, because this is $2 million worth of work, and we've got $30 more million worth to go, and that's the roads and how we're going to deal with the roads. Because when you dig up these old roads, even really good contractors are going to have some real troubles. And so we'll be bringing back some options to you. One is to do some thin overlay. Some is to do maybe some more extensive road work. But again, even when we get some really good paving done, it's going to be a problem. And I just say all that so we all know ahead of time we're going to dig up a lot of roads in the next 2.5 years, and it's going to be really hard to put them back and make them look very good or feel very good. Now, they'll be better than this or else. But it's going to be a problem. So again, not to talk about tonight, but just we're going to be bringing that back to you, some different options, maybe additive alternatives on future bids. We've got B, C, D, and E still left. Contract 8 had very little bit of road work on it lately that you approved at the last bidding. So just want to kind of give you a heads up. I know it's kind of obvious to you that roads are going to be a problem, but they're going to be a big problem. We're going to have to address it as we go.
Well, Art, if I could ask, wasn't it appropriate to use some of the bond money to repair the damage done by the laying of the water lines?
Yes, sir, and that's...
Well, then why is it a problem?
The problem is that, and this is something the council's discussed previously, and that is how much of the bond money do you want to use for roads and how much do you want to use for the actual utilities. Last summer, the estimates that came back was over half of the money was going to be used for roads in order to put the roads back completely. And the instruction we got at that point from the council was not to do that, not to spend that much money on roads, because the major purpose was to replace water and sewer lines. And so what I'm saying now is we'd like you to think about talking about that again and And the council's ultimately going to need to decide how much, are we willing to spend 10% or 5% or 40%? Because that's a council policy decision. How much of it are you willing to spend on roads? Because it's a zero-sum game. You've got this much money. The less you spend on water and sewer for roads, then the less water and sewer you get done. So we just got to make those decisions. And unfortunately, we're going to have to look to you guys to help us make those final choices.
And how much of that can we do in the house?
Very little.
Didn't we buy some equipment to do those things with?
Not to my knowledge.
We may have some of that, but your biggest issue is going to be material cost, I believe, which may not be currently budgeted in the street department's budget. To add all that material cost and the time to do that within their normal workload of their preventative maintenance programs, their daily potholing, and everything that they have on their yearly agenda that they do, and crack sealing, seal coat, all those items. They can't do that on a limited basis, and they do that to repair a lot of water and sewer department's cuts, but you're talking about a very large scale.
Yeah, we're set up more for maintenance and repair rather than redoing a big section of road.
Is this something, and I understand your advice to table this evening, but is this something that maybe we should revisit in perhaps like a workshop setting where we discuss just this and go back with what the initial committee said and then what the council directive was, kind of revisit those things now that we're underway?
Well, of course, that's your the decision of the council. When we bring back contract B, which is tentatively scheduled to come back to you in June, at that point, we'll have options for you. Here's what you could spend on the road. Here's how you could do it. And there's different levels. It's not a yes or no. We can just patch it, which we're going to almost certainly recommend not doing because it's just not going to work, I don't think. There's a couple of different kinds of thin overlays that will work, that'll make it more rideable, that'll make it last for a while, but maybe not as long as we want. Or you can build a whole new road. The problem with whole new roads, which is the other extreme, is we end up spending all of our water and sewer money on roads, and we don't want to do that. So there's no easy, obvious solution, and I only mentioned tonight was so you know it's coming, and I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but when you dig up a road, it costs a lot of money to put it back exactly the way it was. Now, again, I'm not saying they're all going to look like this.
Right.
They better not all look like this. This was horrible. This was unacceptable, and everybody knows that.
I think we're again deviating from the agenda.
Yeah, I agree.
Discussing things which are really not on the agenda.
Then let's go back to kind of what you said. With this change order, I mean, do we have much of a choice except to pass it? You said contractually we are obligated to do so.
I don't believe so, but I would certainly defer to the city attorney on that.
I think the change order, council, is mostly for new parts, materials for the project. We're not going to get away. I mean, contractually, we're going to be obligated to pay for that.
So whether we vote on it tonight or table it, the result is going to be the same, right? I mean, we have to move
on the change. I believe so.
Okay, that's what I wanted to get across. So instead of tabling it, I mean, I personally think we ought to just go ahead and move forward. But
So these are things that they have already bought and have put in the ground
Yes, ma'am.
here in the city of Paris.
For instance, it's we may have added or deleted some of the current bid items is what that was. If you'll see some item numbers in your packet, such as they went back and had to add 5 additional water services in there. They went in and they deleted 4 manholes from the project. Just pluses and minuses throughout the project. When they encountered something underground, we have kind of change on the fly.
So this was not things that they saw in the original that they didn't know until they dug up until they got in there.
These were unforeseen, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Couple of things. First thing, this is all new things, and even in a future contract, when we are doing future contracts, when you have things come up, there will be change orders like this.
Yes, sir. Just like with Mr. Bray, one thing we found out on contract A was after we submitted all the railroad permits, which we could not submit until we had a contractor, we awarded a bid to a contractor. Then he had to submit his insurance information to the railroad company so we could get a railroad permit. Well, they come back and add additional things to the contract. So we're already going to have a change order. We haven't even started yet because the railroad makes you go in and do certain things in order to get a permit. They basically rejected our permit saying you need to go in and add X, Y, and Z or we're not going to give you a railroad permit. So we're already going to have things like that that are definitely unforeseen that they don't tell you about beforehand.
Yeah. So the answer to my question is that these are newly found things when they dug up.
Yes, sir.
It is not because they did something wrong. Now, they may have done the project wrong and it may not have been done well. That's a separate issue.
Yes, sir.
But these are newly detected things which were not part of the original contract.
Yes, sir, that's correct. Not part of the original plans.
Okay. Is there, the second question that I have for you, for the bad job that they did, is there a penalty for that bad job?
Well, the delay in time, contract time is the main thing. Assessing liquidated damages, that is the main thing. Now, workmanship goes back to even when they finish the project, when city council closes the contract and basically says, okay, there is a 1-year maintenance period that they must come back and maintain everything that they installed.
Mr. Napier, yes or no? Is there a penalty that they will have to pay?
Only the liquidated damages is the only thing.
Which amounts to how much?
It's $150 per day.
Which amounts
until they finish. Well, as of today, it would be, if you approve the additional 45 working days, it would be $5,850 as of today.
Okay. So out of this $18,000, if conceivably they were to pay a penalty, that can be subtracted out of these $18,000 because they will have to pay the penalty anyway.
Yes, sir. And in all likelihood as well, and I've asked the engineer to look at if we go ahead and close the contract out without them finishing killing out the lines, to look at the current contract and see what other changes we're going to have, because there will be more changes in there. We could end up having a deduct on the next one, so we could even save more money because they're not going to have to do that additional work, which gives us more money to go out and take the other line out of service.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Mr. Wright and Ms. Lancaster, who had concerns on this. Do you still have concerns on this, that we should table this item, or do you feel that realizing the fact that these are newly found things, you are agreeable to that, subject to the condition that they take out the amount that they have to pay back to the city and not pay them $18,000 up front?
Well, I have a comment. If we're required to pay them, then why are we discussing and acting on it?
Ms. Lancaster?
I'll hang up and listen.
I'm sorry?
I'll hang up and listen.
Ms. Lancaster?
I'm just concerned with being left with a street that is just so poorly done. And we have no more leverage against them to fix this thing. I mean,
we will still have the warranty bond for 1 year period.
Yeah, for 1 year.
Yeah, and not to beat this to death, but you have the bond. You also have we retain retainage, and that is we keep a percentage of every payment. So we do have those funds available too. But again, frankly, just like last meeting, that's why I recommend you table it. We've got their money, and we know we owe it to them, and we're going to have to give it to them eventually. But they were in no hurry to fix my town, so I'm in no hurry to give them my money. So I still want you to table it, make them wait.
I'm proud you're on our side.
Yes, sir. Especially against these guys.
Well,
all right.
Certainly wouldn't want to hire them again.
Mr. Wright, or anybody else wants to make a motion on this item?
Well, I make a motion, we table it.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No.
Thank you.
All right. The next item to be discussed is discuss and act on a resolution nominating Potter Industries as an enterprise zone. Ms. Barentine?
I don't see her. She's supposed to be here.
Yeah, this is, of course, kind of a fairly routine thing. We've done this before, of course. They've been requested to nominate this for the Texas Enterprise Zone program that allows certain sales tax things through the state sales tax. And it's not an automatic thing. Once they're nominated, the state reviews that. There's a point system that they go through. and then they would either be included in that or not. We assume they probably would be, but all we can do is nominate them. So on behalf of Shannon and the PEDC, we recommend that you approve this.
City Attorney has any issues with it? You've gone through this?
Yes, I've gone through it, Mr. Mayor. It's like the other ones we've done for Kimberly Clark and Skinner and others.
And you're comfortable with it?
Yes, sir.
Does anyone want to discuss this further? No. Can I have a motion on this item? I'll make a motion to approve this.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Item number 19 is discuss and conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Odessa King for a change in zoning from a two-family dwelling district 2F.
What did we skip, 18? 18.
Did I skip 18? I'm sorry. Item number 18, sorry. Discuss, conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Joanne Blaylock for a change in zoning from an agricultural district A to a single-family dwelling district number 2SF2 on Lot 1, Blaylock Edition, located at 5055 Old Clarksville Road. Mr. Napier.
Sure. Ms. Blaylock would like to build a home on this lot. Currently, the lot is zoned ag. It is less than 1 acre, and under our current zoning ordinance, you're not allowed to build a home on a agriculturally zoned lot less than 1 acre. So the option was to come back and zone the property to SF2, which is what Ms. Blaylock is asking for. P&Z did unanimously approve this item, and the future land use map does also recommend low density residential, so that does fit within the plan for the city of Parrish.
Thank you. I declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone wishing to speak in support of this item, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Ray Banks. I live at 3450 Robin Road. I just have a question on this. I know we've had a lot of problems, people wanting to be disannexed because there was no water and sewer. Is there water and sewer to this property? If not, who will be providing it?
Mr. Napier.
Currently in Old Clarksville Street, it is currently Lamar County Water Supply is supplying the water, and they will have a septic system for that. There is no sewer in this area, or at least City of Parrish sewer. There may be a little, City of Reno may have sewer near there, but it is not currently available.
And they're aware of that?
Yes, they are.
And they're not wanting the city to provide?
Well, it would almost be their responsibility to extend it to their property as part of a subdivision if they wanted it.
Okay.
Do you ever do a whole harmless deal on a situation like this?
As far as hold harmless for extending?
Yeah.
I'm not sure we've ever done any in the past. I don't recall any. We make the fire department aware of where that is. And I believe Lamar County, they may or may not in certain areas have fire hydrants on some of their lines where they do have larger lines. I know it's definitely not in all the areas, but where they do have some larger lines, they do have a few fire hydrants here and there.
I understand you make it clear to them, but what if the property sells and the new buyer has a different opinion?
I guess that would have something they would have to disclose to the new buyer is there, what utilities are. Well, that is a requirement. I know that you list in selling a house is who do you get your utilities from, or where are your utilities provided.
Okay.
Since we are still in the public hearing, if anyone wants to speak in opposition, if there's nobody who's wanting to speak in favor. If there's nobody wanting to speak against this item, the public hearing is now closed. Mr. Wright, any further comments?
No.
Mr. Jenkins?
No questions.
Ms. Lancaster?
No questions.
Dr. Grossnickel?
No question.
Mr. Frierson?
No, sir.
Ms. Drake?
No, sir.
I have no questions on this. How does the council want to proceed on this?
I'll make a motion we approve the zoning change as stated.
Second?
Second it.
I'm going to ask one question of Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright, the agreement that you were talking about, hold no responsible, is that a conventional thing that is done
I don't know, I just wondered.
Does anyone know if it is usually done?
It's not usual, but I wrote a note to myself to look into it, see if it might, yeah, we'll check.
City Attorney?
We haven't done this. We've done subdivision improvement agreements before, but is that not going to apply to this one, Sean?
Before we approve this, do you think it needs a consideration, or do you don't think it's needed? City Attorney?
I would depend on what I find out to hold this up.
Okay, all right. Is everybody comfortable with this? Okay, so it has been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, the motion carries. Item number 19, discuss and conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Odessa King for a change in zoning from two-family dwelling district 2F to general retail district GR on lot 8, city block 61, located at 6114 5th Street Northeast. Mr. Napier.
Yes, sir. The Kings currently own the funeral home, which is just north of this lot. They purchased this lot in order to expand a parking lot for the funeral home for this. And as you can see here, the former lot was zoned two-family, not general retail, as the funeral home is currently zoned general retail. So in order to do that, they would like to change the zoning to general retail to match the funeral home zoning, which is allowed under the ordinance.
I declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone wishing to speak in support or in opposition to this item, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. If there was nobody wanting to speak in favor or against, the public hearing is now closed. Do any of the council members have anything to discuss on this item? No. I'll take a motion on this item then.
I make a motion that we approve this.
Second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. The motion carries. Item number 20, receive and discuss annual report and plans for Public Works Department. Mr. Godman is going to present this. I'm going to ask a question before we start. Since there is in the agenda item written as plans, how far are we on the Public Works Director?
We have 3 interviews scheduled for this week.
Okay, thank you. Now you can start.
I'm going to go through this pretty fast. It's pretty simple stuff to begin with. Public Works does have 6 divisions. Streets Division, 15 and a half full-time equivalent employees, or 15 full-time equivalent employees. And their main job, again, as we talked about earlier, is maintenance and repair. We don't do any road reconstruction at all. We do have some heavy equipment, but we are mostly filling potholes and of course repairing a lot of work caused by water and sewer leaks when the Water and Sewer Division digs up. We do have an in-house garage which has 5.5 full-time FTEs. They do a huge percentage of our repairs and of course our preventive maintenance as well. And that's on a wide variety of equipment, not just cars and trucks, but fire engines and garbage trucks, a lot of specialized equipment, and in some cases equipment that's not at the garage but out in the field. Traffic and sanitation is 14 FTEs. Traffic and sanitation includes street sweeping, a couple of guys doing sign work. We do a lot of our own signs in the city. Also, of course, operate the compost site, which we've been very busy at the last few months and continue to be busy at the compost site because of the ice storm. And then the biggest part of this division, of course, is the sanitation, which collects residential solid waste throughout the city. We do all the residential collection. We do not do any commercial sanitation. And the big issue we have there coming up that we'll need to talk about this summer is garbage trucks. Garbage trucks are very expensive, probably in the range of $140,000 a piece, something in that neighborhood anyway. And we're to the point now where we have a couple of spare trucks, but we're cannibalizing those for parts. So we don't have spare trucks that necessarily run. We just have parts of enough trucks to get by from day to day. And that's a big expense in a budget our size, to $140,000. But that's part of what we've talked about with the fire department, with the ambulance and police when they've made their reports, is we've got to get to where we have a rolling stock, multi-year capital budget so that we don't go up and down and up and down. You don't have to buy 2 fire trucks one year and go 20 years without a fire truck. Same thing with garbage trucks. They're not as expensive as fire engines, thank goodness. $140,000 a piece, it's a big hit. So we've got that coming up, and we'll talk about that when we do the budget this summer. The Recreation Division is a single full-time employee, lots of part-timers. The biggest part of that, of course, is the swimming pool with the lifeguards in the summer. Also, last year we took over girls softball when the YWCA stopped offering girls softball. And then a lot of those special programs as well, cheerleading and the really young baseball kids. And then water and sewer, super busy group because of the repairs and the line cleanings, the locates. That's 18 full-time equivalent employees. Administration has 3 budgeted, and as mentioned, we are moving on the director's position. We have 3 interviews scheduled for Wednesday afternoon, and probably have 2 more next week, and hopefully we'll make a selection shortly thereafter from that group of looks like it's going to be 5 people that we end up talking to. We've got 3 scheduled for day after tomorrow. And then that brings me to Parks and Drainage. Parks and Drainage is a total of 8 full-time equivalent employees. That includes, of course, parks maintenance, ball field setup, repairs, municipal buildings, and so forth as well. They water the flowers here and a lot of different things. They only have 8 employees, and I say only 8 employees because that's frankly a bit of a problem because their responsibilities have grown. They have to water more trees, they mow more grass, they take care of more facilities, but they haven't had new employees added in a number of years. In fact, they have about half as many employees as they had 10 years ago, but they have more stuff to take care of now. They don't need as many as they had back then, in my opinion, but it is something we're going to have to address because in order to keep up the quality of our parks and our public spaces, they're going to need staffing. And again, you can't do that overnight, but that's going to need to be addressed, like some of these other things going to need to be addressed over time, and have a multi-year plan to get us where we need to go. We also have drainage concerns. Parks also is responsible for drainage in Paris, which is a little bit unusual, not bad or good, but just a little unusual. The problem with it is when in the summertime, when those guys, and I say guys because right now all 8 of them are males, are mowing grass and going hot and heavy with grass, and this is the time of year where that's started up, it's hard for them to break away and leave a park unmowed to go clean out drainage ditches. And so we're constantly running behind on drainage ditches, and I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen those. We also have a number of capital drainage projects that we're going to need to address on a long-term, multi-year basis. 9 capital drainage projects were identified in a study that was done about 3 years ago, right before I got here anyway, 3 or 4 years ago, and somehow we're going to need to address those. And then the last thing I want to mention is the Parks Master Plan. Of course, the council adopted a Parks Master Plan a few months ago, and we're going to need to begin to address that because that calls for us to do things each year over the next 7 or 8 years, and so we'll need to talk about how to fund those or not fund those or what direction we're going to go on. So anyway, that's just a very quick rundown of the 6 divisions. No huge things going on out there, not as many issues as maybe in 1 or 2 of the other divisions, but there are 3 or 4 things I want you to especially be aware of that we'll need to be talking about again this summer.
Thank you, Mr. Gardner. Mr. Wright, there goes your fire truck. He's favoring the garbage truck.
Yeah, we can maybe do some kind of all-in-one thing.
Ms. Drake?
No, that was very informative. Thank you.
Mr. Frierson?
I don't have any questions.
Mr. Grossnickel?
No
Dr.
questions.
Grossnickel? Ms. Lancaster?
No questions.
Mr. Jenkins?
No questions.
Mr. Wright?
No.
I have no questions either. So thank you for the update. The kids who are sitting, or kids or grown-ups, whatever, identify yourself and tell us, are you all from PJC? And studying what?
Business and professional
Okay.
speaking.
Now, please tell us where you from. Are you all from Paris, or you came to PJC, or what? Each one of you, just give us a quick rundown.
I just moved here 2 years ago from Alaska, so
Okay.
I was born and raised in Houston.
How about you?
I've been here since '99.
Okay.
I came from Dallas this year. I came from Long Beach. I came from Houston.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
Right there.
I came from Mansfield. I came from Commerce. I lived in Paris my whole life.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes.
I'm from Boston.
Okay. And people who are from outside of Paris, are you enjoying PJC? Okay, good. All right. We keep moving along. Item number 21, accept the bids and award a contract to GWG Wood Group in the amount of $54,000 for the grinding, chip, and removal of brush and stump as a result of winter ice storm.
This is, I think, I hope, I pray, the last piece of the ice storm. We have about 35,000 cubic yards of trees that are stored at the compost site. What we had at the sports complex has already been either burned or ground. Of course, we haven't burned in over a month now. But we do have that huge stockpile out there. It will become a fire hazard at some point, so we need to get rid of it. I do not want to spend any more money, but I don't think we have any really good choices. We could do it in-house, but it would take us at least a year, maybe longer, and I just don't think that's going to work. Plus, we've still got materials going out there. As you know, it's slowed down a lot. We've got a lot of yards in town that still need to be cleaned up. We still are offering people to come in there for free for another couple of weeks before we go to our normal schedule starting the first Monday of May. We won't be open as many hours, and we do make a charge just like we normally do, but trying to get this stuff out and help people as much as possible, because we know the city's not the only one being inconvenienced by this storm. We still are offering that free collection if you'll get it on the curb, and also not charging people out there at the compost site. So for those of you out there, please get it cleaned up now so we don't have to charge you later. But back to this issue, we did get one bid from GWG Wood Group. These are the folks that were doing the work for us before, but state law, you cannot spend more than $50,000 without going out for a competitive bid. It wasn't real surprising that they were the only ones that bid, because they were already doing their work, they're already familiar with it. They're local, they're good, and so they had a competitive advantage. They did not gouge us on price. They actually charged us, they bid what they were already charging us, so it's a good bid, and we recommend approval.
What happens to the chips?
They haul them away.
Okay, we can't use it in our park.
We can, but we'll have plenty that we'll do ourselves. So that's the thing. We're okay with getting rid of all this because there's still more coming in. And then what comes in after this, we will grind ourselves. We do have a small grinder ourselves, and we do make that. In fact, for people that don't know that, we actually make that available throughout the year. We do provide free mulch out of the compost. A lot of folks in Paris don't realize that. That is a service we offer.
Okay. Mr. Wright?
If we got it, we got it.
Sadly, we do.
Anybody else wants to have any comments on this?
I'm like Mr. Golden. I hope this is it.
All right. Well, I suppose
pray for good news from FEMA.
Yes. Speaking of that, do we have nothing?
I need a motion on this
I
item.
make a motion that we just do it.
Seconded by Mr. Jenkins. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Did somebody say aye? No. Okay. Item number 22, consider and approve future events for the City Council pursuant to Resolution 2004-081. Ms. Janice.
Keep Paris beautiful. The trash off is coming out. Is it this Saturday? This Saturday.
And
That's all the information I have.
you know that the forum?
Yes. I don't think it's this next week.
It's on, what day is the forum?
24th.
We will have another council meeting before that?
No, we won't.
Then we need to post it, right? Because
Yes,
there will
I
be a
will.
council present.
I sure will.
Okay, so, all right. Anything else? All right, with that, we come to item 23.
So moved.
All right, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.